What's up, Internet? It's me, Dave, and welcome to Dave Knows, and today, Dave Knows Wrestling. And on today's show, what we have for you is the obligatory countdown episode, because, hey, YouTube loves countdown, so why not? And today's topic is going to be 7 plot devices that desperately need to be retired from pro wrestling forever. First on the list is weddings. Yes, weddings in professional wrestling. That's a thing. For some reason, I don't know why. Alright, I'll be honest with you. Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth, thing of beauty. It actually brought fans to tears at WrestleMania 7 when they reunited, even though they were actually divorced already in real life. And that was the great thing. They had to come back together because they were a couple that we as fans actually cared about. So when Miss Elizabeth saved Macho Man in WrestleMania 7, of course we wanted to see them get married by SummerSlam. It was a thing of beauty, and they've been trying to recreate that moment ever since, and they're never going to. It doesn't matter who it is. Edge and Vicky Guerrero, Lita and Edge, Lita and Kane, I'm noticing a pattern here. Billy and Chuck having a commitment ceremony. Keep going down the list. Every wrestling wedding ever since has been garbage. The closest thing we ever had was Stephanie and Triple H. Wrestling weddings just make no sense. It's not a thing that belongs in professional wrestling. When you think about professional wrestling and you think about two muscle-bound guys punching each other in the face and slamming each other into the mat, do you think about commitment ceremonies? That should be the last thing on any normal person's mind. Next on the list, we have the bad guy authority figure. Now, this has been a trope ever since Austin versus McMahon. And you know what? It worked great the first time around. But guys, please stop beating a dead horse over and over again. It doesn't work at all anymore. Okay, look, we know there's going to be a guy that we want to see win the title. And he doesn't win the title because the bad guy authority figure tells him he can't. That is until WrestleMania season, and all of a sudden, magically, the bad guy authority figure is outwitted in his own company, and our hero gets to win the title yet again. Because if we're to believe that this company is actually being run by some sort of evil cabal, there should be no way that anybody that's not in their good graces even has a job, because why wouldn't you just fire them? Next on my list is punishment matches. I am so tired of these. Let me set the stage for you. So, okay. The hero figure pisses off the authority figure. The authority figure then says, well, tonight you're gonna face random generic big guy. And it doesn't matter if it's Kane, The Big Show, Mark Henry, what have you. These big guys are going to fight the regular hero. And then the hero is gonna somehow magically beat up the big guy. And this is how it goes every single show. And it accomplishes nothing. First of all, it completely damages the reputation that the big guy had of being a tough, threatening big guy by losing to just a regular-sized guy. And number two, the hero really doesn't gain anything out of it because it was a meaningless match and he just beat up a guy he was supposed to beat anyway. Next up, Legends comeback matches. Look, I love it when I get to see my nostalgic favorites. It's great when you see them run down the ring, have the fanfare, get the cheap pops, and wave to the crowd. What I don't like is Legends wrestling in matches, because this is always a colossal train wreck. It's really painful seeing the guy you love and find out that he just doesn't have it anymore, especially since his hair got gray and he became so flabby he needs to wrestle with a t-shirt on. It's just a sad sight, to be sure. Now let me take you back to WrestleMania 25, where Chris Jericho actually competed against 3 legends in a 3-on-1 handicap match. Roddy Piper, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Superfly Jimmy Snuka. And that guy's tough. He killed someone. Maybe. And Jericho actually beat all 3 of these legends, and you know what? It accomplished nothing. Jericho's stock didn't rise anymore for beating up 3 senior citizens. And on top of that, those 3 guys, if they had won, it would have looked awful for the fact that a current young up-and-coming superstar actually lost to an old guy. Even if it was 3 of them at once, and even if they are legends. Next up is the big surprises. Look, everyone loves surprises, especially in wrestling. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of opportunities to surprise people in wrestling, and I love that. Like Money in the Bank, for instance. You can always surprise people with Money in the Bank because the guy with the briefcase is always on the show. So it's not like when The Rock shows up and everyone knew he was at the airport in the same week that Raw was on, and no one really gets too surprised because the internet already blew it up for you. Now, the surprises I'm really against are the kind of surprises that only an idiot could think of, or someone who's really just trying to surprise you. I kind of feel that if you're running a pro wrestling company, it should be mandatory for you to watch Citizen Kane, or in the least, get a plot summary of it. Because if your mentality is the people will think what you tell them to think, you have a problem. All right, it doesn't work like that. So stop being obsessed with surprising the audience. There are tons of storylines that led down obvious paths, but you undid all the good work because you were so obsessed with surprising us. You know, let's look at the Undertaker Druid he was going to sacrifice Austin to. It turned out to be Vince McMahon, which made no sense. Or how about when Shane McMahon turned on Vince McMahon, brought a Fire Austin back to the company, and then turned on Austin to go back with Vince McMahon. But if you were with McMahon in the first place, why would you have rehired the guy he just fired? And if it was all a plot, then why did you fire him in the first place? I mean, you own the company. It just... Contract signings. I can't think of anything more boring than watching two idiots reading a piece of paper and then signing it. Who cares? I don't. But who does? No one. That's who. All right. I'm going to put it to you this way. In real life, when actual warring nations are signing a treaty, no one watches it. But now I have two performers, and they're going to sign? Now I'm supposed to care? I don't think so. And on top of all that, contract signings are just inconsistent. I mean, how come some matches need contract signings and others don't? How come AJ Styles and John Cena need a contract signing? Or Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn need a contract signing, but then Seth Rollins can cash in the main event at WrestleMania 31 and no contract signing there? How come the bad guy authority figures can just set punishment matches for after the commercial break on Raw and no contract signing there? Why is it only sometimes and why is it other times? Why? Because contract signings are stupid and we all know it. And finally, miraculous healing. I am so tired of seeing this. You see a good guy get pummeled, beaten, destroyed. He has to go to the hospital. He has to be taken away. And by the end of the show, he comes back. Healed, clean, like nothing ever happened. I don't know, how about this? Go into a pay-per-view with a guy still carrying his injuries from Raw or Smackdown. Or let a guy limp a little bit. Or, heck, just have a vicious beating last longer than a couple of hours. That's the way things used to be done, and that's the way they should be done again. You don't make Roman Reigns more likable by just making him no-sell everyone. And you're not going to make Dean Ambrose seem all wild and crazy just because he can jump out of a stretcher, all right? We know Mick Foley's tough. We know Terry Funk is tough. And no storyline made us know that. We know it because it's true. Well, there you go. There's our 7 things that need to disappear from pro wrestling. Now, tell me, what do you guys think? Do you agree with our list? Do you have a couple of plot devices of your own that you want to see gone forever? Let us know in the comments. And please, don't forget to like and subscribe. And that was my first video. Thanks a lot for watching. 7 things that need to go away in pro wrestling. And if you like countdown lists, I actually have a countdown list about the 5 superstars that actually succeeded in the WWF who came from outside companies. Check that out. And also, we have a controversial one. We have the real hidden truth behind the Montreal Screwjob and what it screwed us out of. Check those videos out, and please, once again, don't forget to like and subscribe.